Let's be responsible, helpful too. Let's be responsible, there's lots to do. You do your part, I'll do mine. Together we'll get it done in no time. Let's be responsible, helpful too. Let's be responsible, there's lots to do. Let's be responsible, let's be responsible, let's be responsible. Sue wants a treasure so lost he thinks it's as useless as can be. He doesn't know why she cares a bit, but he'll respect her right to it. Sue's lost a treasure, oh how sad. He knew no bargains in a silly dad. He found her treasure just today. He'll return to her right away. Foster got his treasure overnight. He'll keep it safe and in his sight. He may not think it's very great, but he'll respect it at any rate. Borrowed his treasure, oh dear me. He's as sad as he can be.
Everyone, please go ahead and start finding your seats, and we'll get started in the next couple minutes. Welcome back, everybody. To start our afternoon presentation, I'm going to turn it over to our partners in peace for a small presentation.
Thank you and welcome back for this afternoon. Our learning here never ends. So to kick off our afternoon presentation, we have a special presentation from the youth. Please give them a warm welcome.
Attention, attention. This is a peaceful solution public service announcement.
What is the value of all life? Well, it doesn't start with a fight, but always doing what is right. Education in the ways of peace never brings forth war, hatred, death, or disease. So, if I start with me, my positive examples will spread to my neighbors, then it can reach all society. What is the value of all life? Now I have the ability to practice positive moral character and peace. so we can stop and think, choosing the right options before proceeding. Ooh, it teaches honesty, respect and empathy, humility and unity. It teaches right from wrong. It teaches how to get along. We don't have to fuss or fight. Two wrongs never make it right. In a world that's filled with hate, we must learn to communicate. We call it a peaceful day. We call it a peaceful day.
This has been a Peaceful Solution public service announcement to just stop, think, weigh your options, then proceed with the right choice.
Let's give them another round of applause. How amazing is it to know that our next generation, our youth, are learning the tools right now from the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program to handle the problems that we face in our world. This is our hope for the future. By educating our children in positive moral character, we are rebuilding our society. So to continue with our afternoon program, we'll turn it back over to our partners in peace.
I see some yeses, some nos. Awesome. All right. Welcome back, everybody. That's all. So to continue today's portion, we're going to have this afternoon, we're going to have some talk about the prisons, how the Peaceful Solution is working in the prisons. We're also going to have some information about how the Peaceful Solution is working in South America and other countries throughout the world. To start, we're going to be talking about the prisons. And to tell us more about the work going on in the prisons, I'm going to turn it over to Katan Alexander.
Share one, huh? Okay. All right. Just got to change with the flow as things move forward. Welcome everyone back. I hope everyone had a wonderful meal, wonderful lunchtime. We're going to continue to fill your minds with the things that are taking place in society. Now, me and David were talking a little bit about, some of the activities that are taking place with the Peaceful Solution in the prison systems, but also some of the things that is in regards to how society looks at people who are incarcerated, because society's solution, as we even mentioned, a Peaceful Solution to dealing with crimes, is to throw people into the prison systems or jails, depending on what it is, and just throw away the key. But as we've seen many, many times over, United States being one of the countries that has one of the highest rates of incarcerations, more jails are being built year after year. In fact, it's gotten to a point where prisons have become a privatized business, okay? And there's a lot of issues with, mistreatment of those who are incarcerated, them not being able to, contact their loved ones, not having their needs met for their health and so forth. It's just an all-around environment that, kind of makes a person feel less valued than what they are. But getting back to society, it could be easy, if you're not trained, to think that because a person's committed a crime, they deserve this particular punishment. Well, like I said, we have over 2 million people incarcerated in the United States, and the United States is no more safer, no less crime, now than it was 50 years ago. In fact, crime rates are continually going up, because prison is not the solution. Well, one of the things that we've learned over the years in the Peaceful Solution, and we've been able to visit with, correspond with, speak even on the phone with, many of the men and the women that are incarcerated, and one of the things that they realize is that there is a way to prevent problems from taking place beforehand. But they were never taught how to. And the Peaceful Solution has helped these young men, these men and women, to understand that first off, they have value. That's something else that they weren't taught, right? People grow up in dysfunctional families. They grow up in environments where violence takes place on a regular basis. They see drug activity taking place on a regular basis, right? Some of the people that we spoke to over the years, they didn't have a stable environment where school or education was pushed. So, children were left to their own devices. And in many instances, that was just finding acceptance on the streets, finding acceptance in things like gangs, finding acceptance with communities of drug dealers and so forth. And so that's led them to a series of decisions that they ended up being caught and going to prison for various crimes. But one of the benefits of the Peaceful Solution, and it doesn't matter if the person is before they make a bad choice or after, one of the benefits is they can start today to improve their quality of life. Now, you've spoken to some of the men in prison, and what are some of the things that you've heard coming from them as they've taken the course?
One very particular thing I remember hearing from most of the men, but there's one in particular who I'm thinking of. He said, the reason he made the choices he did in life is he simply didn't know better. He was raised in an environment, like Katan said, where crime was the norm, fighting was the norm, acting out and not being seen as weak was the norm. So he did things that eventually led him into prison, a very long prison sentence. And he said if he had had these teachings, these things when he was a kid, when he was a young child, he would have known better and he would have never made these same mistakes. In fact, there was one time we went to a prison in Arkansas. It was a women's prison, in fact. And just to kind of highlight, and not to justify, nobody has the right to take anybody else's life. But you can kind of see the background of where people come from. There was this woman who was in a very abusive relationship. And it was her and her I believe it was her son. Do you remember the story I'm talking about?
I didn't go into that facility, but...
Okay, so it was her and her son, if I remember right. And they were abused. The husband was being very abusive. And she ended up killing her son, killing the husband, and tried to kill herself, but failed at committing suicide. And ended up in prison for life. Obviously, the abuse doesn't justify, two wrongs don't make a right. But anybody who's been in an abusive relationship knows the amount of stress and pressure and craziness that goes on in that relationship. And that could be solved by teaching the positive character traits. That can be solved by somebody not making those decisions, by people understanding how to respond to disrespect, and by people understanding not to disrespect in the first place. So it just goes to show how these people are in crazy situations, and the environment that they're in leads to crazy actions, negative actions. And that's why they need to be taught.
Right. Well, you mentioned something interesting about what is the norm. And normal is a word that's kind of tossed around in society. Well, this is normal or that's normal. And that's the thing that we try to get the students in the Peaceful Solution, whether they're just regular students in school or students that are incarcerated, to understand that just because something was normal in your environment doesn't mean that it was moral. It doesn't mean that it was correct. Because in some environments, it's normal for there to be drive-by shootings every night. In some environments, it's normal that if you want something, you just take it. Right? In certain environments, it's normal that if you don't like something, then you yell and you hit someone. Well, the goal with the Peaceful Solution is to show the students that there is a new normal, a normal that brings about peace, that stops war, that stops hatred, that stops the dysfunctionality from continuing to repeat generation after generation that we see taking place within society. And so that's one of the benefits that, like David was saying, they didn't know, right? And even in an environment where they're incarcerated, like we were mentioning before, those types of behaviors are kind of concentrated, in the prison facility. And even though they try to, come up with some programs, and they do have many programs in the prison systems that are beneficial to the men and the women that are incarcerated, none of them quite match what they've gotten from the peaceful solution, because the peaceful solution transcends all religions, all cultures. It doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're Latino, it doesn't matter. The concepts in the peaceful solution are agreeable to everyone who learns them and puts them into work in their life.
Exactly. And so we have people currently who are in the prison systems who are taking the peaceful solution courses. We even have some people who have been incarcerated, gone through the courses, and have become teachers in the prisons, turned their life around, and become teachers to teach their fellow inmates and other people in the prisons to become better, more constructive members of society. So when they are released, or if they're living their life there, they can actually be a benefit to society. Instead of, as many people consider people who, have done crimes menaces to society. And, that's understandable. They've done something that was menacing, done something that was horrible, and caused a problem in society. But what we believe is the peaceful solution is nobody deserves to be thrown away or considered trash. Everybody can be rehabilitated, everybody can be brought back to do something positive. And that's what they're doing in the prisons. So we have a video, not a video actually, but an audio clip of someone who is in the prison system right now, has been teaching the program in the prison system, and how he used the peaceful solution in his life to sort of endure and be successful even while being incarcerated. I'd now like to turn it over to the audio clip.
Well, greetings, everyone. This is Yedidia Hawkins, one of the members of practicing the Peaceful Solution Church Educational Program. I want to thank all you, the ones who are representing the program, and everyone that is striving to learn and apply this program to their daily life. And I would like to bring a few things up to your attention about how effective this program truly is, and really how life-saving it can be, especially in times of adversity, in times of stress, and in times of sorrow, and the different things that we face as human beings, and the challenges we face in the world today and in society within itself. One thing you always don't expect is ever to have to be thrown in jail or thrown in prison. And I would like to talk to you a little bit about today are some of the challenges that you might face if you ever find yourself in this situation, and some of the things that actually help in this situation that you're in. Well, when I first got locked up, it was something that I've never faced before. I never realized what I was going to encounter. It was like being dropped into a whole new world, a whole new environment, because you grow up your life around everybody you're comfortable with. You're in a comfort zone. So you're around everybody 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether it's your family, your friends, the people that you have a lot of common ground with. Well, now here you're taken out of that environment, and it's like you're dropped on an island, and you're around all these people here that speak a different language, and you're faced with a lot of situations that you really never encounter. Again, when you're around people who are practicing this peaceful solution, I ended up going into an environment that was already had their minds poisoned, and they have their own set of laws, their own set of guidelines, and their own set of rules. The rule is when you come to prison, they got different laws you live by, different rules you live by, and the rest assure you, the peaceful solution is very rarely a solution in their minds in what you have to do. But thankfully, with the studying and being able to practice the lifestyle of the peaceful solution, getting educated in it and getting to practice it, it really comes in handy when you get put in a situation. And one of the things you never do, and that the peaceful solution teaches you, is don't fear. Don't give into the fear of you're going to be forced into something that you don't want to do, or you're going to make a bad decision, in a hostile environment. No, the peaceful solution, the first thing it teaches you is self-control. And whenever you get put into a bad environment, whether you get thrown in jail or prison, and I pray that no one ever has to go into that situation, but you never know what going to come across your path. But always remember the self-control. And I remember taking a self-control unit and working with the self-control in the peaceful solution and the respect. You know, these two things were the quickest elements that came to my mind in some of the things that I had to face, because you have people that are going to threaten you, people that were going to want to fight, people were going to make comments about you, gestures at you. And, you know, you have the choice to whether how you want to respond to it. Because no matter what anybody ever says to you, no matter where you go or where you're at, you always have the ability to control what you do. And that's one of the main things that the peaceful solution teaches you. It teaches you how to stay in control of yourself. You know, when I was growing up, you know, my dad always told me, he said, son, if you lose control, you lose the fight. So, you know, it was the first lesson of self-control that I was taught as a child growing up. And then as I learned the peaceful solution, it all came together and it started to make sense to me about maintaining self-control. And the little basic things of saying, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and just talking the words and pairing yourself with the language that the peaceful solution teaches you to speak, it really sticks out in the minds of people. Well, I guarantee you, practicing the peaceful solution, practicing the remedies of respect, self-control, different things about the attitude it teaches and about what kind of attitude did I have towards somebody, and humility. Especially the humility and being humble. Being humble doesn't mean you have to throw yourself at somebody's feet and start groveling and doing all that kind of stuff, you know? No. So you had an advantage, actually, using the peaceful solution as a tool of protection. And diplomacy has been my number one tool. My number one weapon within the jail system and within the prison system is using diplomacy. Because the diplomacy allows you to use self-control. It allows you to approach the person with humility. I always use the terms, gentlemen, you have a nice day. You know, when I just leave the group, I leave people like this, but I let these type of words, these little common, simple words come out of your mouth, and little phrases like this, you wouldn't believe how beneficial. You know, I sat down with a wise man one time, a person that was helping me with learning and growing up and teaching me the first piece of solution. And whenever he used to greet people for a meeting, he used to go toward an older gentleman and an older man that came in. Sometimes he would go, young man, how are you doing? Or young lady, how are you doing? You know, sometimes, for most of the time, that will work. You know, but what it does, you put in the mind of a person, oh man, I haven't been a young man for a long time, or I haven't been a young lady in such a long time. But the point is, it just shows them appreciation. You show honor towards the gray head. You show honor towards them as the character that is being out. You know, you have people that want to try to challenge you. And one of the things they want to do in some places, and it's sad to say, they want to know if you have a heart. And what they do is they call it a heart check. And that means when they want to see if you're going to stand up and fight. Are you going to stand up and defend yourself? Are you going to stand up and go on? But I was blessed with some of with the training of the peaceful solution, you know, that kind of got cleared from some of these challenges with it, because it was how I carried myself before I got there, and it's just the different elements that I presented to where I didn't need to have that challenge given to me. When you speak the peaceful solution, because you're not cursing at people, you're not belittling people, you're not tearing down people, you're not being argumentative towards people. And like I said, you know, sometimes the safest thing to do is, even though you know they're wrong, and even though you know the answer, the best thing is saying, well, that's interesting. I never thought I'd seen that point before. Even though you know it's wrong. But the point is that you hear the conversation. So now you got them in a relaxed mood. Now they're calm about things. You know, and it's like you gain control of the situation with the part playing the position of a servant. And you wouldn't realize, by you taking the humble attitude of a servant, of how you actually can get control of a situation quicker and more peacefully. Part of the thing when I got locked up, I was always told, be kind to these people because you don't know the things that they had to go through. You don't know what they went through in their life. You don't know, it says that you don't know a man until you walk a mile in their shoe. Well, that's exactly true because you don't know what these people had to suffer and go through. I've met some people and just talking to some of these people, it would make you want to start to cry. Actually, I've seen some of the suffering on some of these people's faces that they don't have it. They never had this character education. They never had anything presented to them because they're just so out there. A lot of times, a lot of them were outcasts from their family. They suffered a lot of hardship, and they just made a bad decision. They just made a bad decision. And they have to live with it. And a lot of people here they don't have their support. They don't have a lot of family support. I see these people. You can tell by the shoes they wear and just how they are and how they carry themselves and what goes on, that they just don't have that support given to them. And that's one of the things that I know the Peaceful Solution, the program, does. It actually gives people hope. You give people, it shows some support. There's a support program too that's involved with it. And this is what a lot of people in the prison system need right now. They need help. They need support. But they all got these blind leaders leading the line. And it seems like that if everything's for some type of financial gain or if there ain't no financial gain, then they're going to toss these people aside and they have no use for them at all. Mm-hmm. Their peaceful solution that they teach in here is sitting them in front of a TV and letting the TV in. If they choose on their own will to go and get an education or they choose to take one of the programs that they have, that's their choice. Granted, I can understand free will, but there's nothing given to a person to make them desire that. When I first got here on this unit, there was a teacher. It's a class that we take. It's called cognitive intervention, and it's their way. That's their way of trying to bring forth some type of peaceful solution. Well, there was a teacher, and her name was Miss Walker. Well, when I came, I gave her one of the books of the peaceful solution books that I had. And she says, "Do you mind if I keep this book?" I said, "You're more than welcome to keep it." So she used that book because she was actually a school teacher out in the world. She did well, but she was about to retire from being a school teacher, but she was also working here at the prison a couple of days a week. Well, she used that peaceful solution book. And I'll tell you, the most amazing thing took place with it, because when she started using this peaceful solution book and she mixed it in with some of the cognitive, you could see a whole different spirit or character come out from the inmates. They got more, actually, and it's not bad way, but they actually got more aggressive, because the Peaceful Solution Program actually digs deep into your mind and your body, and it actually pulls out the negative from you and starts to get rid of it. It actually was like drawing out the negative of their character, bringing it to light, exposing it to see what it is exactly that they had to overcome. And that Peaceful Solution did that, and she was like, and she was shocked on it, but she loved it. And she took the book with her, but she loved it, and she thought it was a fantastic thing. But that there was a lot of effects with the Peaceful Solution, and with the men, and the men's lives here, they love the Peaceful Solution. I think the Peaceful Solution really needs to be more pushed into the prison system. It's an active program, but it's a lot easier when you actually can have people come into the prison system and teach it as a curriculum. And I think that the more it can be done, I think you'll see more changes. I think you'll get more people grafted into it. Another thing I really believe that the Peaceful Solution really needs to do is get a halfway house going. I really think so, because look, a lot of inmates are at the mercy of the state. And the Peaceful Solution Program offers them something that they don't have to be forced to do. It's something that they would be willing to actually go and do, and they would actually be willing to participate in it, because most of the programs that they got they all want to make it religious sake. You see, and this is the thing about the greatest thing about the Peaceful Solution Program, that it's not trying to cram some religion down your throat. The Peaceful Solution is trying to build character education. It's a character education program that actually gives everybody an opportunity to breathe and actually feel free, that they can actually practice something without feeling that they're being forced to doing something. And then they try to make a profit off of it. When they send them to these religious halfway houses, they have to pay $800 a month, $600 a month, and then they have to have the money a down payment. Where the Peaceful Solution Program is a free program to where they can develop and have and create a work environment within their heart and mind to where they can go out and get jobs, where they can deal with things better. And this program has actually helped people learning how to talk with parole. It helps you to learn how to talk to the officers, and it also helps you how to interact with other inmates. And that's what the program has done in here. It actually helps with the officers, and that they say officers need to recognize the peaceful character that you have. Well, look, thank you, everyone, for taking your time to listen to me on this, and all the people that are there, the representatives and the people that are learning and teaching. I always hope that your endeavors will never fall short, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you soon.
Welcome, everyone, to the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. My name is Roland Fuller, and this is Yasa Franza, and he's well known by Robert Franza. But we want to talk to you today and update you about what is going on in India and the wonderful things that are taking place in South India. And with that, I'll turn it over to Robert.
Yes, hello, everyone, and thanks for having us today. What I'd like to do is touch on some of the things that are occurring in India's society that's adversely affecting them, that's currently plaguing their society. And there are a number of things taking place, as they are throughout the world, but we're focusing right now in India. And some of the things that are going on, and this affects mostly the teenagers, young adults, and it's bullying, and in India they call it ragging. And basically ragging is a form of bullying, and where they're actually teasing, taunting each other, those that are doing the aggressors as well as the recipients taking the abuse. They're both adversely affected, and it affects the school environment, home environment, and the actual community as a whole. So, one of the things Roland and myself were trying to do was to assess all the problems that they were currently having in India, just to get some information, education about what's taking place there. And we kind of packaged the peaceful solution to address those issues. And we're achieving great success in it, and we're still exploring with things as we go along. The important thing is that we're noticing from reports that we're getting from the community is that we are positively changing a lot of the behaviors of the student participants in the program. So there is some impact taking place. Go right into it.
Okay, so I'd like to talk about the ragging. Now, what they have, what we know is bullying here. So what we have recognized, by them telling us, the students, for instance, like being put down when they are made to feel like that they're not making the grade. Okay, education in India is something that's really pushed very much, and when young people don't make the grade that others think that they should be making, They're put down and made fun of to the point that the young people start thinking about that they have no value. And the suicide rate in India is very high. And out of 9 of the students, 4 of them took their own lives. And what we try to do is instill into them the value that they have, no matter what anyone says or what does, teaching them to be able to differentiate between personality and character. We break down what personality is to them, and then we break down what character means. And whenever they start understanding that and understanding that they do have value and that they are important, and that their lives are important, and that they have the ability to not only change themselves, but to change others by what they have learned.
And yes, and you know, we're finding out that a lot of the students that were engaged in that behavior that are participating in the class, we're pleased to report that they're no longer doing it. So there is some great success from it. Now, another important topic or issue that's currently plaguing southern India is the mistreatment of the woman. There's a lot of mistreatment pertaining to domestic violence, where you're having emotional, physical, verbal, sexual abuse, all types of abuses taking place within the home. There's also alcoholism as a result of that and of these actions, and we're finding that the young people are adversely affected by that form of treatment in the home, especially the women. And we had a real sad story one day, and I'm going to let Roland discuss it in detail, of a young woman student who's participating in the peaceful solution. She was a victim of some of that abuse.
This young lady, she's in her teens, and she was strong enough, and she took enough courage to tell us her story. She had Robert and myself in tears when we heard it, but she began to tell us about how that her father was abusing alcohol. He smoked very heavily, and he would beat her mother. And she would watch this, and she witnessed it. What Robert and myself did, along with the teacher that's over her there in India, we began to tell her that no matter what you go through, you're able to learn from the experiences, and if you remain strong, you're able to bring peace to a situation that seems like that there's no end to the trouble. And whenever we begin to teach them about the importance of character development, these young girls together started putting on smiles, started telling the teacher, man, we would that these teachers could come to India so that we can meet them in person. The Peaceful Solution Character Education Program is so strong that it can change the very hearts and minds of individuals that go through poverty. In India there, they suffer from malnutrition, some of them. A lot of them have problems with water, being able to drink clean water. The teacher told us there that they suffer with malaria and different diseases. He even took the camera out one day and showed us how that they dump all their trash and excrement and different things on the side of the roads, and how filthy it was. Well, the Peaceful Solution, if it's taught diligently, is able to help people to change in their hearts and minds and get them to see that the lifestyle that they're living, that they can change if they apply the character education program lessons that are taught to them. And we do see that each week. In fact, the classes have grown. when the teacher shows us how many students are there. There was something that we went through last week that when we were teaching them, we were talking about the language barrier. Now, we have a man that he translates for us. Well, they were talking about drumsticks. And to us here in America, drumsticks are one of two things: chicken and drumsticks you play drums with, right? Well, when we explained to the teacher, we said, okay, are you talking about chicken? He goes, no. We said, well, what are you talking about? He said, vegetables. Vegetables here in India are called drumsticks. So you can imagine, and then all the students, when he explained to them what we were thinking, all the students busted out and laughing because they thought it was so funny, because drumsticks we thought was chicken. They were talking about vegetables the whole time. So then when we were mentioning about hail that we have here in America, that we have hail, they goes, what's that? And we said, you don't know what hail is? No. And I said, ice particles, ice. You understand that? That falls from the sky. Oh, you're talking about stones. So you can imagine, sometimes we have to really break things down, make it real simple so they can understand what we're talking about. And I'm telling you, working through a translator is one of the most wonderful, awesome experiences, because you get to learn. It slows you down. It helps you to understand where that person's coming from. And then it helps you to break things down in a way where they can understand and make it simplified. And I'm telling you that these people in India are going to be great leaders, and they're going to teach others. And this Peaceful Solution Character Education Program is going to grow, grow, and grow. And with that, I turn it over to Robert.
Yeah, and I don't know if you realize, but that young woman who's suffering that traumatic experience in her family with her father being an alcoholic and abusing the mother in the situation. And in some cases, she was abused. She had enough strength and courage. She was crying out, reaching out to us to pretty much, I'm sorry, just a very emotional thing for me, but she was crying out, reaching out about her situation, and it was one step in healing her from that circumstance, having the courage to bring forth the information that she was trying and the help that she needed. So the Peaceful Solution was a benefit to her in helping her realize that, and she wants to one day teach her family and her father how to overcome his addiction. So I thought that was great. And another, as far as the mistreatment of women, another thing that has occurred there's a thing called acid attacks. And it's a form of a revenge that is taken upon a woman who someone finds attractive or trying to engage them, and what they're doing is throwing that flammable liquid on their face, and they're scarring them for life. That's another tragedy in India that we're helping them try to resolve.
You know, it amazes me sometimes the things that people do, the choices that people are made, but it's because of lack of education. When people are taught that seeking revenge or bearing a grudge is not beneficial, carrying guns, knives, swords, those things do not solve problems, okay? In the Peaceful Solution, we talk about talk it out, not fight it out. And whenever we are educated in how to handle our problems in a peaceful manner, then only then will we have the peaceful outcome. And what we're learning there about those in India is that they are not only hearing the message, but they're also taking care of it. So with that, we thank you for giving your time.
Greetings to you all, the greatest leaders and teachers and members of Peaceful Solution Charismatic Education Program. And in this time especially, I need to remember and give my heartfelt thanks to the author and president and founder of Peaceful Solution Charismatic Education Program, respected Israel Hawkins. Even though he was not with us right now, but his greatest teachings and speeches and writings and ideas and thoughts always with us and inspiring a lot. And how can we forget his great dedication and hard work and determination and immobility and integrity to bring the peace and harmony among the people all over the world. His teaching inspiring lakhs of the people all over the world, and I'm the one of the person to inspiring throughout his teachings. Myself, I am Raja Ambedkar K.R.A. from India, the representative of Peaceful Solution Charismatic Education Program. And in this time especially, I need to give my special thanks to the teachers of Peaceful Solution Charismatic Education Program, Robert Franzam and Ronald Fuller. What a great teachers they are. They brought and introduced and launched this Peaceful Solution Charismatic Education Program in India last year. We are so glad the program is bringing tremendous changes and reformation and rehabilitation in India. When I get the feedback from the parents and teachers, they are giving the tremendous response. Before, the students who are not attending to the classes in the past, they were robbing and stealing the things in the schools, in the house, in the neighboring house. They are not respecting and honoring the parents and teachers and elders. They are beating each other. They are abusing each other. When they are started to attend to our classes, they are not robbing and stealing. If they need anything, they are taking permission. They are asking permission as how we taught to them. They are following. And they are respecting and honoring their teachers and parents and elders and neighbors when they are hearing how to respect others. Really, we are so glad to know and get the tremendous feedback from the parents and the teachers. And myself also learned a lot of things throughout this program. And recently, one conflict which was happening in my school, there was a conflict among the students. The student brought the issue to solve to the teachers, but teachers who are not in the position to solve this problem, they did not solve this problem, who are not in the position to solve this problem. So the elders and teachers also called me to solve and to settle this matter. That day, I thought about unity and brotherhood and respect and honoring and problem solving ability. The teacher heard me, the students heard me, the parents heard me. The conflict was reduced and settled. Practically, I am seeing how peaceful solution characteristic education program is working effectively and reducing the conflicts and bringing peace among the people. And recently I attended to another school to give the motivational speech to the students who are preparing for the public examination and getting a lot of depression and stress. When I give them the motivational speech, the stress and depression was reduced to the students who talked to me. I'm so glad for that. And many tremendous things and reformation and rehabilitations that I am seeing throughout this program. If we extend, if we increase our peaceful solution characteristic education program all over the world and all over the India, we will see the better society. We will see the positive character society. We will see the moral value society. We will see the strong society. We will see the peace and harmony among the people, among the society. So we need the peaceful solution characteristic education program in India, dear teachers. And I want to say a few things about peaceful solution characteristic education program in India. Why the peaceful solution characteristic program is very need and important to develop and increase and launch in India. When we are observing, most of the students who are committing suicide, not only in India but also in many countries all over the world. But when we are comparing and observing, India has the most highest suicide rates. Every hour, one student is committing suicide in India with stress and depression and failures of their examinations. And averagely, 28 students who are committing suicide with stress and depression and failures of their examination within 24 hours every day in India, according to the National Crime Report Bureau. And when we are observing the statistics of the National Crime Report Bureau, it gives a lot of sadness to our heart. In 2017, 9.7% of the students who are committing suicide with the stress and depression in India. And when we are observing in 2018, 10.2% of the students who are committing suicide in India with the stress and depression. And when we are observing 2019, 10.4% of the students who are committing suicide with stress and depression in India. And when we are observing in 2020, 11.3% of the students who are committing suicide with stress and depression and failures of their examination and unemployment of their life, they are getting suicide. And when we are observing 2021, the rate is increasing. 12% of students who are committing suicide with stress and depression in India. Who can stop the suicide rates? When we are observing the statistics from 2017 onwards 2022, year by year, it is increasing and increasing. Who is focusing to reduce this problem in India? Parents are not focusing to reduce this problem. The schools or college managements who are not focusing to reduce this problem. The government system is not focusing to reduce this problem. Who will stop the suicide rate in India? Who will motivate and strengthen and build the strong positive character among the students? I strongly believe why we are inviting the Peaceful Solution Characteristic Education Program in India to build the positive character among the students. So that we are requesting to start the Peaceful Solution Characteristic Education Program in Indian educational system to stop the death rate, the suicide rate, so that we see the better society. the bright students in India and all over the world.
Hi, hello everyone. Good afternoon. My name is D. Ramesh Babu. I'm working as a chemistry teacher in government sector. So here, I would like to say that so many students are changing among them because so many students are attending the Rajasthan PSCEP classes among few days. So what happening here, I am observing before and now. So before, my children are so much disturbance in the classes. Some are making beating and stealing the objects of the children and cheating and saying lies. So cheating others. So what happening, I am observing among the children last few days. Why you are making a lot of changes among your character, I observe. So many students said to me, they are attended the Rajasthan classes here, PSCEP classes. Oh, I appreciated them. I got a lot of inspiration among them, and also so many changes taking place among them the children. I'm very shocked. Some of parents are calling me also. Many changes are taking place. What happened among my children? I said to them, they are going to Rajasthan classes, PSCP classes. So this program changed a lot of change among the children, their behavior and talking and making the friendship, and so many changes, little bit changes are among them. So why means I would like to say that I request to all the management of our colleagues and I request to Rajasthan also to implement this mega program, implement this wonderful program to the change of the lot of children. It is inaugurated in India wide. So much help to the students and parents and teachers also. So it is build up the good citizens to the country. So I especially thank you very much giving the wonderful opportunity, and special thank you all to inaugurate this PSCEP classes to the children. Thank you one and all.
Hello everyone. So we're going to continue our journey. I think we're going to continue our journey.
There we are.
We're up. Okay. All right. You're always looking for yourself in here. You never know where to look next. We're going to continue our journey with something we've been working on for a long time. And the amazing part is we're actually the second generation that's actually doing this job. There was a generation before us that went around, traveling around the world after the conception of this program that the author Yisrael Hawkins envisioned, coming together with parents and teachers alike and bringing this program together to turn it into a curricula and something that has been accepted worldwide. I want to give you a list of countries at this time that we're currently working with. Zambia, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Liberia, Sierra Leone, the Congo, Tanzania, Uganda, Malawi, Morocco, Namibia, Benin, Somalia, Zambia, Mozambique, Cameroon, Tanzania, Ivory Coast, Togo, Philippines, Japan, Laos, Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Burkina Faso, Israel, France, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Egypt, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, Ukraine, Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, Austria, Australia, Malta, United Kingdom, Canada, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Colombia, Peru, Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, St. Lucia, Barbados, Haiti, Dominican Republic, St. Kitts, and Dominica.
Wow.
Those are all countries that we are currently working in at this time and looking to build more and gather more teachers, and we need more teachers. And along with myself and Katan and Nana, we've all been working very long and hard to try to bring this about for the last 15 years with the vision that the author instilled within us. And of course, the generation that came before us is still working very hard also in this. And of course, I'm going to turn it over to Katan and Nana to talk, because we've all worked in complete unity with this, with Africa, and that's where we're going to start first. We've been working with Africa for a very long time, and we've made a lot of friends there.
I was just Sorry, thought I had it on. I was just thinking about 2009. Must be all of our mics. 2009, we started, communicating with many of the people over in Africa with Skype. And I remember the early mornings that we would have to start these classes in because we're in two totally different time zones. And it's interesting to see the cultures and how they conduct themselves. In many of these places that they had these classes held, they were just in literally like little huts. Yeah. Just a couple of sticks and a little bit of grass thrown over it, but they had their computer, they had their internet, and they were packed and ready to learn the peaceful solution. Why? Because the problems that we see here in the United States are common to everyone on the face of the earth. You know, like we mentioned many times in the peaceful solution, where there's problems, where there's people, there's a need for the peaceful solution character education. So yes, since 2009, and like Chris said, even before that, the first generation was working to take this message of peace to different people. And even though we don't see the full results, the full end results of what's taking place, those are seeds that are planted in the minds of all those people who we teach, and works are growing from there and are continuing to grow to this very day.
And it is an awesome thing to see the growth of the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program, because we went from that first generation, now we're putting forth this work, and we look forward to the next generation. And you see it with the individuals that you just saw the video from India. And then we have some videos that we want to show you from Africa. Now, we oftentimes, whenever we have the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program one-day event, we do have videos from Africa. These specific ones that we're going to have one of them is going to be from Liberia. Well, pictures, right? We're going to have pictures from the work that's going on with the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program from Liberia. And also we have Uganda and Kenya. Okay, so these places, you've seen Kenya before, but there is more work going on there. So this work is just continually growing and just getting better and better and better. And so are we looking to go into the pictures right now? Okay, so if we can, we'll take the pictures that came from Liberia. And this shows the work that is going on in Liberia. We're going to work on getting videos for you for the next time, but this is just people that have agreed. They see the peaceful solution, they see the necessity for it, and just like what Katan said, they experience the same things that we experience here, in the sense of frustration, anger, hatred, envy, jealousy. All of those things are there. And you can imagine that it's somewhat exacerbated because of the economic situation that they're dealing with in the so-called third world. But once they realize and understand, they start to see that respect is something that is supposed to be worldwide. Okay? It's not something that's only for the so-called first world countries. That it's also for the entire world at large. If we can, let's get the videos from Uganda.
Program leader, first spokesperson, invited guests, other leaders from different capacities, ladies and gentlemen. Hi to you all.
Hi.
My name is Navia Lydia, a Ugandan student of the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. I'm from Chebano branch. I'm going to present a wonderful topic known as interdependence. I'm in lesson 2, Speak with Purpose, under the theme, Rebuilding Our Society, One Choice at a Time, through the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. My purpose of this speech is that without rebuilding our society with the foundation of character based on positive character traits, then our society cannot depend on each other in a peaceful way. Instead, crimes, wars, violence, aggression, murder, theft, scandal, falsifying, breaching of trust is what will occur, to mention but a few. Our character is the foundation. Character is the means by which we distinguish between right and wrong. So, for us to build our society with a peaceful solution character education program, we have to put in emphasis and replace the positive character traits, neglecting the negative character traits. For example, positive character traits are educated, reliable, trustworthy, courageous, honest, disciplined, respectful, compassionate, merciful, forgiving, generous, optimistic, thankful, modesty, loyalty, self-control, decisive, steadfast. So, the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program, we have seen that really it works if at all we are basing on interdependence. So if we start to forward our minds on the topic interdependence, which means to depend on each other, then applying these positive character traits will change us to be people of integrity, changing our hearts and minds. Interdependence also will work will work very well if at all we value all human life in our society. And it also, if at all also we take life as precious, handling it with morality. Because we have seen that interdependence also acts in various sectors, in families, in schools, in health departments, and also in the companies. For example, in a family, children depend on parents, and also parents depend on children. Because as they take their children to school, they expect these children to do better so that they get jobs, not frustrating them with the premature sex, with the drugs or alcohol. Then if at all we look at companies have also faced very many problems. People, they defraud, they embezzle money. But when we realize that the peaceful solution, if at all we realize that the peaceful solution is very vital in our society, then all that will not happen in such companies. If at all we look also at the health department, in the health department, nurses, doctors will not take away our drugs which the government is offering to the people who are sick, because they will know that taking things without asking, they are stealing. If at all we look also to schools, the headmaster cannot stay in the school without teachers, and teachers also cannot stay in the schools without children. So here, it needs all these sectors to respect each other. So with that, I think the peaceful solution can work in every society. Thank you.
The program leader for spokesperson is invited guests, and as a distinguished guest is an essential diplomat from different parts of this continent. Hi.
Hi.
I am Yakarani Samoya, a Ugandan student of the Peaceful Solution Education Program. And today in this auspicious Global Peace Conference, I would like to tickle into your peers a short discourse of a kind focal interest, namely morals. And the purpose of this speech is to show how this concept of morality is changing so drastically over the years. remember, I'm on lesson 3 of the Peaceful Solution Education Program, that is to be crystal clear, under the theme rebuilding our society, one piece at a time through the Peaceful Solution Education Program. Now, morality is a set of principles that govern the way we live, treat ourselves, others, and the environment. Moral values is one of the key factors that separate and distinguishes character from personality, and they govern the way people think and behave. Now, morality can be divided into 3 basic categories, that is behavior and attitudes towards all life, behavior and attitude towards possessions and property, and behavior and attitude towards the environment. Now, society refers to a community or broad group of people who work together for a common purpose and have collective activities and interests. To rebuild our society is to repair, especially to dismantle and reassemble with new parts. Society, in the titles of all education, remember, children used to be taught they could sit with their parents, they could be nurtured with positive morals. But now it is sad that we have left this opportunity to our school teachers. That is why positive morals, which our children need to have, it is not being instituted in them today. Everything is on a downward spiral, especially moral integrity. We live in a world where negative morals and horrendous mistakes are skyrocketing, and crime has become commonplace in our society today. Crime can be defined as a grave or serious offense, especially against morality. For example, rape, murder, assault are examples of ways people are irresponsible to each other. So, what should we do to end all these criminal rates from increasing in our society? Remember, historically, society's response to crime is through prison is incarcerating those who break the law in order to protect law-abiding citizens and reduce the number of crimes. Once a person is found guilty of a crime, he or she is being sent to either jail or prison according to the seriousness of the crime and the duration of the sentence in order to protect our society and prevent crime. But we have seen throughout history that even prisons do not rehabilitate. And the reality is, however, that 65% of those released from prisons commit more crimes and return to prison within a short period of time, despite the fact that prison life is very dangerous. Now, if prisons and correctional centers do not teach people to be morally responsible to each other, then what it does? Education is the answer. By studying the Peaceful Solution Education Program, you are learning the value of being responsible to yourself and others. In order to improve our society, each individual, including prisoners, must be taught to be responsible for his or her own thoughts, actions, and attitude. Character education must be taught at home, at school, and even in prisons. By eliminating negative character traits such as violence, aggression, selfishness, hate, while developing positive character traits such as respect, self-control, compassionate, and responsibility, prisoners and everyone else in our society can learn the value of being more responsible towards each other and towards each other and themselves. And now, in a nutshell, therefore, I urge each and everyone to teach this valuable concept of morality, inculcate into our children for a better tomorrow.
You know, it really is a wonderful thing to see the effort that they're putting in to the peaceful solution and learning the peaceful solution and going forward and teaching the peaceful solution. You can see that these men are not in, sophisticated houses and, wonderfully paved roads. No, this is actually out in the country for them. And for them to take time out and actually learn this program that's come from the United States of America. You know, it's really a miraculous thing, as a matter of fact, for them to understand and to realize. One of the things that I kind of wanted to point out concerning the learning of the peaceful solution is that, you see, in society at large, the culture of the society should support positive moral characteristics, okay? A culture should strengthen the community. And if that culture is not educated, okay, if that culture doesn't know how to bring forth this peace, they won't. So in the earlier video, when she was saying, you know, people have to really understand and know, and I know the language is hard to understand, especially with the recording devices that they have, but she was saying, look, taking something from another individual is simply stealing. And you can imagine in a third world country, again, like we said earlier, where their finances are not as robust as we have here in America, it's easy to take from another person, right, out of desperation. But learning the moral stance for the sake of the community, for the sake of the village, for the sake of, you know, your family, you know, at large, is really an amazing thing, you know, and something that is remarkable. You know, for them to be able to make the videos and get together and learn the peaceful solution is really a task for them, right? It's not that they don't just hop into a vehicle and, you know, go. No, you have to go on foot, you know, and you got to make sure that you're making it home before daylight, because there are people who haven't been taught the peaceful solution, you know, that are willing to take advantage of who they see to be weaker, right? So, I mean, really what we're doing here right now with the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program is remarkable, and it is going throughout the entire world, and it's really an interesting thing to see. So now we have another video and this will be a familiar face to you. This video is coming from Kenya, some of the work that's going on that part of the globe.
My name is Bidan Maina, the National Director of Peaceful Heart and Mind Changing Organization, which is an NGO in Kenya that promotes peace through the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. And since the last Global Peace Conference, we've been engaged in a number of activities, all geared towards promoting peace. But basically, the main activities that we've been holding are peace conferences, which members had agreed that it would be great if we do have them monthly in various of our groups that are scattered in the various parts of the country. So as I've mentioned earlier on in other conferences, we have about 30 groups in the country that are branches of the NGO, and all of them have been doing a great job in promoting peace through the character education program. And so since the last conference, Global Peace Conference, we've had around 4 of those monthly conferences held in 4 different locations, and all of them have really been very fruitful. So the first one was held on 30th of April. This one was held in our headquarters in Nairobi, the place called Ruai. And the theme of that conference was, it's our responsibility to make the right choices. And this was a conference that attracted a number of people from neighboring counties of Nairobi and also various other places. And all of them really enjoyed the session. The next one was held on 4th of June, 2023. This one was held in Flyover. This is in Nyandarua County. And the theme of this conference was, let's give our children the ability to make a better tomorrow, which was also another very great conference. And it was followed by the third conference, which was held on 13th of August, 2023. This one had the theme, responding to disrespect. This one was held in Kima, Rwanda constituency in Vihiga County. And the thing I can mention about those 3 conferences is that apart from the many delegates from various parts that usually attend, usually between 100 to 150, we've been having the presence of some delegates from our neighboring country, Uganda, who come and participate in this conference so that they can also learn. And then the 4th conference was held on 24th September 2023. This one was held in Caprosero. This is in Bomet County. And the theme of this conference was Your Reputation Precedes You. And this was also another great conference, attracting quite a number of our members and really great deliberations done in this conference. So of those 4 conferences, we do have some really great speech classes going on, in addition to the various deliberations that we have that help us to promote peace in the country. And in the speech classes, it's always beautiful to see young and old alike practicing to give speeches and practice what they've been learning from the peaceful solution. And we've been trying to motivate those people who participate in these classes by having some certificates of merit, one given to the best or the most helpful evaluator, another one given to the most improved speaker, and another one given to the most effective speech. So this has been going to various people, and we see this motivating people to be more geared towards keeping the standards that are set up in the speech class manual. And we've seen really some great output from these conferences. So we are looking forward to seeing other conferences in the near future, and we'll keep sharing what we've been doing. And as we see some photos from these conferences, we might also inject a few of these speeches just to have a snapshot of what we've been experiencing. It's also beautiful to see that sometimes, apart from speeches delivered in English, we do have a few that are usually even given in local languages. This is how we encourage everyone to participate, not allowing even language barrier to be a problem. So enjoy your viewing, and we hope to see greater job being done by our great members. Not only do they learn, but also we encourage them to practice what they've been learning. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Thank you.
Spokesperson, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. Hi. My name is Lydia Kiare, and the title of my speech is The Way You Should Respond to Bullying, under the theme, Responding to Disrespect. And the purpose of my speech is to show the consequences of bullying and the reward of responding to bullying with a peaceful solution way. First, I'll start by defining words. To respond, to be answerable. Respect, to show care and concern for myself, others, and the environment. Bullying, to treat someone in a cruel, insulting, or threatening, aggressive fashion. Disrespect, low regard or esteem for someone or something, as in lack of respect. Bullies usually victimize others because they appear to be weaker, younger, or different from them in some way. If you are bullied, these are some ways in how you should respond. The first thing, you should maintain self-control and do not respond with anger. Do not pretend that being bullied is not a big deal. When you are provoked, be wise and humble and get away as soon as possible. Keep in mind that violence is never the answer. Encourage those in authority to contact the bully's parents and notify them on his behavior. In conclusion, remember you should not respond with anger. You should have the combination of self-control, courage, and humility in order to respond to bullying. Back to my evaluator.
A program leader, fellow spokespersons, ladies and gentlemen, and all invited guests, hi. Hi. I'm Maureen Odor from Vihiga, Luanda constituency in Kenya. My title will be Healthy Relationship I am going to scope it from lesson 3, is being crystal clear. So what is a healthy relationship, or what can be termed as a healthy relationship according to Peaceful Solution Character Education Program? A healthy relationship is a relationship with moral characters. Like, relationship should have respect, it should have some love, it should have harmony. When you are in a healthy relationship, you should have that freedom of speaking. You should not fear sharing what you have with your partner or the person that you feel free to be with. When if we use an example of our president and the vice president, I've seen the relationship between the people in government and the opposition leaders. Since the elections in 2007, we saw what occurred due to this lack of treating their relationship with respect. We had some fights, we had quarrels, we had people dying, destroying of properties. If given an opportunity to bring people in peace and to create healthy relationships, I know we can do it better by helping these people to practice moral characters that will help them to live in harmony. So I urge all of us that we should emulate these positive characters so that we have a positive and a healthy relationship among ourselves, our mates, our brothers, sisters, and friends. I turn it back to my evaluator.
Program leader of the day, fellow spokespersons, ladies and gentlemen, hi. I'm Kiprotich Yael in lesson 7 under the theme, your reputation precedes you. And my title is, Rating Ourselves is Vital. The purpose of this speech is to show that it is us who build a reputation which is either positive or negative. Reputation is a cornerstone of power. Maintaining positive reputation is an hard work, but losing it is very simple thing. You can lose it in a minute. And we can rate ourselves through people who are around us, for example, our family, children, and normally people we interact with them. If they are truly our friends, they will be able to point to us and tell us the true reputation that we have. However, if in case our reputation is rated negative, don't lose hope, because that is the right time to really make a difference through educating yourself by putting into practice and educating yourself through Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. In conclusion, I'll give you tips to develop your respectful reputation. Number 1, you have self-control. Next is purpose and call. When you have next is determination. When you set to something that is negative. Another thing is educate yourself. And then lastly is being consistent and disciplined. And through that, when you combine all those, you will be in a position to develop a positive reputation. And with that, I turn to my evaluator.
I'm Matthias Ananda, a student of the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. I'm also a member of FAMCO under the Peaceful Solution Character Education Incorporated United States of America. So today I'm going to give my speech on lesson number 7, that is Inspire with a Complete Speech, under the theme Rebuilding Society One Choice at a Time through the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. Remember, I am going to draw my indelible parallel regarding to power of immorality. So before I continue, what is a society? Society is a group of people with a common interest. And also morality is a set of principles that govern the way we treat ourselves, behave, and also do we react to environment. So remember, we live in a society where morals have gone on a down spiral, and especially everything that is being done is negative. So the scope between morality drifts from positive morality to negative morality. So positive morality is example is self-controlled, respect, and also acceptance. Whereas negative morality is disrespect, lack of self-control, and also violence. So I am going to delve profoundly unraveling negative morality. So negative morality is negative virtues or going against the set of principles that govern the way we treat ourselves and behave, and also the society. So remember, we as peace educators, we need to inculcate these positive morals in our lives and train them to our children. Remember, the children have not been taught, and they are our tomorrow's leaders. So in the Building Moral Excellence, that is chapter, page number 8, it talks about morality. So before we continue with that, that same page says that morality is a set of principles that are, or qualities that make us unique individuals. Morals are a set of principles, qualities that govern and define our character. And we see morality can be divided into 3 categories: morality or attitude towards life, morality or attitude towards possession of properties, morality or attitude towards environment. So in this due regard, I'm going to talk about morality and attitude towards life. So we see when we take life as something that is insignificant, we go on and do things which are not proper. Like when you go and kill other people, it means that you have a negative morality towards life. Remember the war that is going now in Ukraine. People are murdering, being butchered. People are being killed. Very many people have been displaced. About 10 million people displaced because of this lifting up sword against each other. So if these people are taught positive morals, for example, more positive morals of respecting humans' life, they will not go spraying the bullets on other people, throwing bombs on other people, killing them like this. So we see they will have a peace between these two countries, and international spar between both of them will be solved amicably with the peaceful solution character education program. So that's why we say we should always accentuate positive character traits and negate the negative character traits in our life to build a positive, a peaceful environment. So remember, in the book Respect Unit, that is page 168, it says that you should guard your mind, control your mind, as I said, in advance, so that whatever you are going to do will be positive. So instead of going on destroying other people's reputation, you should take that time to build your own reputation. And I guarantee you, if we continue to do this, we are going to stem out these negative behaviors that we see under us, great students of peace. So we as learners of peace and also instructors of peace, we need to first take these positive virtues, train them, try to disseminate this the same to the other people nationwide, and we inculcate this into the children so that tomorrow we have a better leaders. Remember, a mistake is something that you can is simply done. For example, taking sugar and mixing with its salt. And a choice can be when you experiment with the drugs, okay? You are that one is you are making a negative choice. So if you go on drinking carelessly, you come home in a drunken stupor and misbehave in front of children, smoking like a chimney. You see, that one is a negative behavior that we need to root it out. So let us arise and let us embrace the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program, great student. So at such a wonderful closing juncture, I humbly return the service back to the program leader.
Excellent. Excellent work. And we want to thank Matteo for helping us to accept his cameraman. The wonderful unit in the Peaceful Solution considering acceptance. Katan, you wanted to make some statements?
Yes, it was interesting how the last four speakers were talking specifically about respect. That's exactly what we're going over right now in the certification course, because respect is something that is desperately needed in society. People in society want respect desperately, but the problem is they don't know how to go about showing respect. They don't even know how to recognize when respect is shown. And so that's why having the Peaceful Solution gives everybody kind of a universal program so that it's accepted across the board as to what respect is, how respect is shown, what disrespect is, and how to respond to disrespect. And of course, in what we heard with the speakers, developing a respectful reputation. I was doing a little research online, to kind of go with the theme for the Peaceful Solution event today in regards to rebuilding society one choice at a time. And I was looking up some of the things that is kind of out there, kind of, a lot of people study this. There's a lot of groups that put research studies out and so forth as far as society. And the question was, what are the requisites or, the requirements for a thriving society? And this is actually from the socialtrendinstitute.com. And they have this section in there, which are the 5 pillars of a dynamic society. And it flows right into what you saw the last few speakers talking about there. It says, according to contributor Robert P. George, a dynamic society cannot exist without 5 fundamental pillars. Now, the first thing that caught my attention in reading this was respect for the human person. The very first thing right off the grip that they recognize is there has to be respect, but it's not in here. They go a little bit into detail. That respect must also be mutual. From the respect unit in chapter 3, this is from the Peaceful Solution, it says, showing respect for others is the foundation of a civilized society. So you see how this all ties in together. Couple that with self-control from page 119 in the respect unit. Self-control, and you saw that shown earlier today, is the ability to control what you think, feel, and do. The foundation of self-control rests on moral principles. And as you heard the young lady speaking a little bit earlier, the governments, the ruling bodies, there need to be those moral principles in place to ensure that there can be a thriving society based on rules. You must control your thoughts, feelings, and actions in order to be a moral person who demonstrates concern for yourself, others, and the environment. And we heard the gentleman talking about the 3 basic categories of morality, and he focused particularly on life, because without respect for life, having respect for ourselves, others, then you kind of miss the whole part of having a peaceful society, because we need each other, right? We're interdependent. We rely on everybody to do their jobs, but to do it according to the rules. And lastly here it says, new research shows what it takes to make society change for the better. It says, many people try to make society change for the better. The real challenge is how to get good solutions to scale up for major change. New research suggests that social change may depend on the relationship between beneficial behaviors and policies. Well, in the Peaceful Solution, we actually show the student how to bring about beneficial behaviors, and those policies essentially are just rules that help us to conduct ourselves in a way that don't bring harm to ourselves, others, and the environment. Chris?
And I would once again like to thank Mateo. That was our last speaker, and I don't know if you can imagine, if you're from the United States. I was speaking to him. He let me know at 1 a.m. this morning. He's like, hey, I got my speech done. And the effort that he had to go through to be able to just get his speech to us. And he is one of many teachers over there that do an amazing job. They really have applied themselves to watching the certification courses. They actually hold classes themselves 4 days a week. And that's besides the classes that are coming out of the headquarters. And they will gather together with Uganda, others in Nigeria and Zambia, Tanzania, Sierra Leone, Liberia. They will all gather together and they'll have classes on WhatsApp. And that's how they actually keep going every day. But I want you to imagine sometimes for them to get the data, to have the data of internet, to upload something and send it to us, they'll forgo a meal just so they can afford the data, just so they can actually get us a video. We live in the United States and we think here everything is bad if you can't go down and buy the latest, greatest phone. You know, if you can't get the latest, greatest car, if you can't get the latest, greatest TV, mine's only 8 foot wide, I need one that's 10. You know, we think that here in America, the things we look at as a necessity is a dream that's not even really come to the mind of many people. And we're going to take a look at a school that is literally only 4 hours from here, but it's in a totally different country. Someone asked me one time, what's the difference between Abilene, Texas and Acuna, Mexico? I said, go out at 12 noon, look out at the sun. Go back out at midnight and look for the sun. That's the difference of what it means to go across that bridge. When you cross over from Del Rio into Acuna, or you go across from Eagle Pass into Piedras Negras, or from Laredo into Nuevo Laredo, or Reynosa into Matamoros, it's a totally different world with a totally different set of rules. And morality has a long way to go in the United States. But here, you don't have to worry about walking down the road and someone just walking up and literally will cut your hand off if they have to take your cell phone. There's certain places that I've traveled to, you never pull your cell phone out where anyone else can see it, because if you're an American, and they can identify you very easy, they know you have a cell phone that's more up to date than theirs. And when you're dealing with a community that the average salary in Acuna, $45, $55 a week, you still have to pay your lights, your gas, your rent. If you can afford a car, you know, if you can't afford a new one, you're going to be driving one that's really tore up. And you hear people talk about, the cars in Mexico are tore up. Well, if that's all you can afford, that's what you cherish a lot. It's much better than walking. And I met an older lady one time in Monterey. And I asked her, I said, why is it that you cook rice and beans so many different ways, and y'all have a way to add spices and you flavor them, and you must really like it? And she shook her head. She said, oh, gringo. And I said, now, why do you call me gringo? She goes, you Americans, you don't understand. I don't like rice and beans. It's all I can afford. I don't like eating the same thing twice every day, so I found different ways to make it. She said, I don't eat it because I like it. I eat it because it's all I can get. And this is life. And in Acuna, the city we're going to look at next, Mexico is known for its danger, its harm. And here in the headquarters of the Peaceful Solution, you can come and go to class freely. You can drive into Abilene. You don't have to worry about much. There's danger in Abilene. But we're going to a city right now to where, imagine you're a teacher, and just a month ago they threatened to cut your head off. You're going to get to see for yourself something that just occurred this week. To where, due to what they're doing down there, pushing forth positive character, they literally doused the vehicle for the school with gasoline and tried to set it on fire. They didn't know there was a camera in the van that records everything. You're going to get to see the man that actually did it. But I want you to realize there are people in this auditorium that's getting ready to speak to you that still do their jobs, and you're going to see some great people. From Juan Carlos Fonseca, who is the person who oversees our schools in not just Mexico, but all of Latin America, to his family, his wife, his son, 2 children, I say children, but they're young adults now, who originated from Barranquilla, Colombia, whose father literally made a journey due to the dangers of Colombia, literally sought to bring his family to learn the peaceful solution. And you're going to see two young people, 19 and 18 now, they started taking the peaceful solution. I remember setting up here on our stage where we teach the Skype courses. They were involved in classes at 8 and 9 years old, and now they're teachers. And they literally are teaching hundreds of children. They left their country and everything they knew to have a full-time job as teachers in the peaceful solution. And you're also going to get to see a man named Alejandro who, due to the work that was being done by others down there, he got a piece of paper on the streets they were handing out. And he's like, this is what I want to do. He literally came to the school, quit his job working for the brake company down there, and now he's a full-time teacher in training at the school. So I want you to realize that all of these people that you're going to see, and the very next teacher you're getting ready to hear from, literally does this under death threats every day. Literally someone coming and stopping them in the middle of the road, and multiple people coming up to them and literally telling them, we're going to cut your head off. And the only thing that prevented it was her husband stepped in the way. That's the reality that many of the people who are teaching this program go through. And at this time, it's my honor and privilege to turn it over to our partners in peace so they can continue this presentation.
Buenas tardes a todos. En este momento tengo el privilegio de presentarles a un invitado especial. Ella ha estado estudiando y enseñando el programa de educación de carácter pacífico durante 4 años en una escuela en Acuña, México, y a pesar de todas las probabilidades ha viajado de esta manera. Es una de nosotros enviar la sede de Peaceful Solution hoy.
Good afternoon, everyone. At this time, I have the privilege of introducing you to a special guest speaker. She has been studying and teaching the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program for 4 years at a school in Acuña, Mexico. And despite all odds, she traveled this way and joins us live at the Peaceful Solution headquarters. Por favor, da la bienvenida a Isabel. Please welcome Isabel.
Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Isabel Tenorio, maestra del programa La Solución Pacífica Educación en Carácter en México. Con tantos problemas sociales, cultivar la paz y garantizar su duración parece una meta imposible. En nuestra sociedad podemos ver faltas de respeto, desconsideración, abuso, violencia, robo, asaltos, inseguridad, delincuencia, discriminación, bullying, desigualdad, asesinatos, corrupción, tráfico de personas, contaminación y destrucción del medio ambiente, y esos por nombrar solo algunos. Todos estos problemas causan estragos, amenazando y cobrando vidas por falta de autocontrol.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Isabel Tenorio from Mexico. Today I'm going to teach the Peaceful Solution Self-Control. The Peaceful Solution Education Program. With so many social problems with the peace, in this duration seems impossible a goal in our society. We can see disrespect, inconsideration, abuse, violence, robberies, assaults, insecurity, crime, discrimination, bullying, murder, corruption, pollution, and destruction of the environment. Just to name a few. All these problems creating havoc, threatening, and kicking lives due to the lack of self-control.
Para resolver la grave situación que actualmente vive la sociedad, lo podemos hacer a través del programa La Solución Pacífica Educación en Carácter, enseñando y ayudando a desarrollar la base de todos los valores, el autocontrol. El autocontrol es una de las herramientas más importantes porque es necesario en todos los aspectos de la vida y es el cimiento de un carácter positivo.
To resolve the serious situation that the problem is in experience in the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program, teaching and helping to develop the basics and values self-control. Self-control is the most important character trait because it is necessary in all aspects of the life and is the foundation of the positive character.
¿Con autocontrol podemos construir la sociedad? La respuesta es un rotundo sí. El autocontrol es la capacidad de detenerse y pensar, calcular las consecuencias o recompensas de las propias acciones y luego tomar una decisión que no te cause daño a ti mismo ni a los demás. Mi tema principal en este discurso es el mejor instrumento para evitar la violencia es el autocontrol.
With self-control, can we rebuild the society? My answer is a resounding yes. With self-control, we can rebuild the society. Self-control is the ability to stop and think, calculate the consequences and rewards on one of the actions, and to make the decision that does not have harm to oneself or others. My main theme in the speech is the best instrument to avoid violence is self-control.
La violencia es el uso intencional de la fuerza o el abuso de poder para dominar a alguien o imponer algo. El elemento principal dentro de las acciones violentas es el uso de la fuerza para lograr algún objetivo en contra de la víctima. La violencia consiste en conductas aprendidas y también hábitos, es decir, violencia entra, violencia sale. Un factor de peso que puede contribuir a la violencia también es la normalización de conductas violentas.
Violence is the intentional use of force, the abuse of power to damage someone or impose something. The main element without violence action is the use of force to achieve objectives against the victim. Violence consists to learn behaviors and habits. That is to say, violence enters, violence leaves. A major factor that can contribute to violence is also the normalization of violent behavior. Witnessing acts to violence damage the minds of children, young people, and adults. Witnessing repeats acts of violence leads to desensitization. In fact, desensitizations make it possible for a person to respond with verbal or physical aggression. Violence then becomes an accepted way of dealing and frustrating another situations, lacking self-control.
Presenciar actos de violencia daña la mente de niños, jóvenes y adultos. Ser testigo de repetidos actos de violencia conduce a la desensibilización. De hecho, la desensibilización hace que sea posible que una persona responda con agresión verbal o física. Entonces, la violencia se convierte en una forma aceptada de lidiar con situaciones frustrantes y molestas, careciendo de autocontrol. Entonces, ¿cómo el autocontrol evitará conductas violentas?
Witnessing acts of violence damage the minds of children. I said this before, but young children, people, and young. Witnessing repeated acts of violence leads to desensitization. So how will self-control prevent violence behavior?
La violencia es la respuesta inadecuada a la ira. Practica el autocontrol con las siguientes formas apropiadas de lidiar con la ira. Primero, habla con un tono de voz respetuoso, usa palabras respetuosas. No empieces a gritar ni levantar la voz, no maldigas, ni insultes o amenaces a otra persona. Tómate el tiempo suficiente para explicar respetuosamente cómo te sientes. Segundo, usa el lenguaje yo para comunicar tus sentimientos. Por ejemplo, yo me siento molesto, yo me siento enojado. Le permitirá a la otra persona saber exactamente cómo te sientes de una manera no amenazante. El lenguaje yo abre las puertas para encontrar una solución pacífica.
Violence is inappropriate response to anger. Practice self-control with the following inappropriate ways to deal with anger. First, speak with a respectful tone and voice and use respectful words. Do not start shouting, raising your voice, cursing, insulting, or threatening other person. Take enough time to respectfully explain how you feel by using a peaceful phrase to communicate with feelings. For example, I feel upset, I feel angry, speak with that person in the way that you're feeling. Then use the I language. Opens the door to finding a peaceful solution.
Tercero, compórtate de una manera pacífica. El comportamiento pacífico no representa amenaza para nadie. También incluye no arrojar, golpear o patear objetos. Cuarto, usa tus rasgos de carácter positivo. Las personas humildes no necesitan ganar cada argumento. Alguien que tiene compasión y empatía por los sentimientos de los demás no dañará intencionalmente. También usa el rasgo del perdón. Guardar resentimiento y rencor no ayudará en nada.
Behave a peaceful manner. Peaceful behavior does not pose a threat to anyone. It also includes not throwing, hitting, or hiking objects. Use the positive character traits. Humble people do not need to win every argument. Someone who has compassion and empathy for the feelings of others with no intentional harm. He also used the trait of forgiveness. Holding resentment and resentment will not help anything.
El siguiente es el quinto. Si es posible, aléjate y tómate un tiempo para refrescarte. Aquí es donde tener autocontrol y evaluar tus opciones es útil. También, tómate un tiempo de descanso. Ve a una habitación o a otro lugar tranquilo. Enfócate en pensamientos positivos. Una vez que estés tranquilo y hayas resuelto tus emociones, regresa y aborda el problema de una manera efectiva, tranquila y pacífica. El siguiente, habla con un tutor o consejero sobre un plan para controlar tu ira. No te avergüences de buscar ayuda de otros. Hay innumerables formas en que puedes utilizar la ayuda y la preocupación de quienes se preocupan por ti.
If possible, get away and take some time to cool off. There is where having self-control and evaluating your options come in handy. Take some time to rest, go to your room or another quiet place. Focus on positive thoughts. Once you are calm and have resolved your emotions, go back and address the problem in an effective way, calm and peaceful way. Talk to a guardian or counselor about a plan to manage your anger. Do not be ashamed to seek help from others. There are countless ways that you can help and concern for those who care about you.
Lo más importante no es saber estos puntos que acabo de mencionar, sino de llevarlos a la práctica con la intención de generar paz. Hoy más que nunca se requiere de una educación con el programa La Solución Pacífica Educación en Carácter. Es importante que también nos comprometemos a tener una mirada para que desde el contexto y el actuar cotidiano generemos acciones que aporten al desarrollo de un carácter positivo y a la reconstrucción social.
The most important thing to know this point that just mentioned, but to put them into practice with the intention of generating peace. Today, more than ever, education with the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program is required. It is also important that we commit to having a perspective so that we can do the context and daily actions. We generate actions that contribute to the development of a positive character and reconstruction of the peaceful peace, of the social peace.
Para reconstruir y mantener la paz, necesitamos adoptar un estilo de vida donde se practiquen los valores, donde se pueda dialogar valorando los sentimientos de los demás sin menospreciar ni faltar el respeto. Espero que próximamente te conviertas en un hacedor de paz en todos los ambientes donde te encuentres. Adelante. Falta mucho para llegar al éxito, pero lo más importante es que seguimos caminando con el programa La Solución Pacífica Educación en Carácter. Ánimo, tú puedes. Solo falta comprometerte. Gracias.
To rebuild and maintain peace, we need to adopt a style life where values are practiced, where dialoguing with the help valuing the feelings of others without belittling or disrespecting. I hope that soon you will become a peacemaker in all environments, where you can find yourself moving forward. There is still a long way to go to achieve success, but the most important thing is that we continue walking in the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program that make this a goal. You can do it. just commit yourself. Thank you.
A continuación presento a mi equipo del programa La Solución Pacífica Educación en Carácter en México. Por favor, puede iniciar el video.
To continue, I present my team in Mexico. Can you go, please go ahead and play the video?
They tried to come turn it, they poured it on the van. So I know it was them. But, it ain't nothing new.
Hello, my name is Carlos Fonseca, a teacher and a forever student of the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. Seeing what's taking place in the world today, we can see the importance of why we need to take the initiative to set the example with everything we are learning from the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. We have places in Latin American countries like Mexico where we can see the different violence and the level of corruption. It's so high where no one is getting justice through these things. Through all this, we have the perfect program being taught in Latin America to different children of all ages, starting with each one of us, one step at a time. We can practice everything we have learned from the Peaceful Solution, including them 3 simple steps. Make our decisions according to not hurting anyone else, not hurting ourselves, and not hurting our environment. With this said, I would like to introduce some of my students and now teachers of the Peaceful Solution. Thank you very much.
Muy buen día tengan todos ustedes. Mi nombre es Alejandro Saldaña Méndez, desde San Pedro de las Colonias, Coahuila, México. La solución pacífica, educación en carácter. Reconstruir la sociedad un paso a la vez. Hay muchas cosas de las que podemos hablar. No sé si me voy a extender o sea corto, pero hay cosas que necesito compartir con ustedes. Al principio, cuando alguien me hablaba de valores, pensé que la solución eran otras cosas diferentes. Pero ahora que he estado en estos cursos, en este estudio, he encontrado que es muy bueno, es muy saludable. En realidad, por más que quiera uno buscarle algo malo, me doy cuenta que es algo extraordinario. Hay valores que ni siquiera conocía por la decisión de no conocer o no meternos en lo que son los valores, ¿verdad? Y ahora sé que son tan importantes, tan esenciales para que esta sociedad cambie, y no nomás cambie la sociedad, sino que primeramente estos valores debemos de aplicarlos a aquellos que se dedican o quieren someterse o quieren aprender lo que son los valores. Los debe de llevar a sí mismo, debe aprenderlos, aplicarlos en su vida, porque lo primero que debemos intentar cambiar somos nosotros mismos. Porque nosotros hemos decidido aprender para hacer algo mucho mejor y tener una sociedad con valores, con respeto. Y hay muchas cosas que podemos compartir. He aprendido a través del estudio que también al momento de irlo aprendiendo, también debemos estar atentos, ya que salemos a las calles, en la carretera, en nuestro propio hogar. Y ahí es donde se dan las oportunidades de aplicar lo que aprendes. Estos valores tenemos que llevarlos a diario y siempre nos van a acompañar toda la vida, porque esto no se debe de perder. Al contrario, se adquiere y lo debes de retener para toda tu vida, ya que también al momento de que tú los aplicas en tu vida, los demás, los que están a tu alrededor, van a aprender no por las cosas o los consejos que uno da, sino por el mismo ejemplo que está a la vista de todos. Uno puede enseñar, puede decir, pero lo que más enseña es el ejemplo. Y gracias a esta educación en la cual estamos recibiendo, en la que yo estoy recibiendo, estoy aprendiendo, se han despertado en mí esos momentos en los cuales tenemos la oportunidad de aplicar estos valores. Hay mucho que recorrer todavía, tenemos mucho que aprender y sobre todo tenemos, mientras tengamos vida, tenemos esa oportunidad de practicar estos valores, ir mejorando un día a la vez, poco a poco, irlos aprendiendo y estar conscientes y reconocer que también cometemos errores, pero a la vez también nos reforzamos más para no volvernos a equivocar y hacer lo correcto. Hay algo importante, que las cosas que hagamos no nos debe de afectar a nosotros mismos, no debe afectar a las demás personas y tampoco debemos dañar al medio ambiente. En lo cual, todas basados a esto, todas nuestras acciones, teniendo estos 3 pasos que les acabo de mencionar, entonces las decisiones van a ser correctas. Muchas gracias y hasta la próxima.
Hi, my name is Francesca Hawkins. I'm a teacher of the Peaceful Solution Forum Latin America, and I'm from Barranquilla, Colombia. And growing up in Colombia, it was impossible for me to be indifferent to the pain and suffering that was clouding my country due to the internal war and the highly polarized society. And I realized that everyone is always expecting for change to come from somewhere else, from the government or from someone else. The truth is that we as individuals, if we don't start to change first ourselves and by taking responsibility for being part of the problem ourselves, we will never see a change. So we have to take responsibility and we have to be determined and decide to make the decision to start changing ourselves first so we can contribute to a solution for our society. That's already a step. In becoming a positive role model by performing a moral character. Everything starts with the little details in home, work, school, in being obedient, in following instructions, being respectful and having positive interactions and maintaining the self-control when not everything is rosy. The change is in using the self-control to assume a positive attitude when we are not having the best day, because there's probably someone else that's not having their best day either, and the inflection point would be in us. It's on me to decide what kind of interaction I want to have. It's my power to decide how I want to be remembered by the people that I had an interaction with. So everything that we do or stop doing will always remain in their minds. So we gotta decide what kind of interactions we want to have with people and what kind of memory we want to have with them. And there's always someone watching, hearing, and noticing everything we do or stop doing. So it's vital to perform positive character traits all the time, because that's what will cause an impact on others and how they will behave on their own situations and their own experiences. And sometimes the fastest interaction and the smallest gesture, like being optimistic, being kind, a smile, showing care and concern, is making an impact on someone else. So for them to start the same thing and being a better person for our society. And as an individuals, we gotta give them time to grow, those who are around us, and being patient, not being judgmental, but remembering being of help and serving, because it's in us, and we got to remember that someone else also had patience with us when we were learning. So being of help, that's an endless thread that suits a fulfilling life of joy and humanity, because although we are human beings, the last thing we see is humanity. So those are the steps I'm taking to rebuild our society.
Buenas tardes a todos, soy Jerry Hawkins, soy profesor de la Solución Pacífica en México, vengo desde Barranquilla, Colombia, y para empezar a abordar este tema de reconstruir la sociedad un paso a la vez, me parece el paso más importante empezar primero con uno mismo, porque no puedes ser profesor o maestro de Solución Pacífica y querer enseñarle esto a un alumno, a un estudiante, cuando tú no lo estás practicando. Entonces, primero tienes que aprender los valores, aprender sobre el carácter positivo, sobre el respeto, sobre el autocontrol, para mostrar con tu ejemplo, con lo que has aprendido, para reconstruir la sociedad. Un paso muy importante que tengo aquí en mente es los valores en la familia. Los valores en la familia son extremadamente importantes porque a medida de que los hijos, los estudiantes van creciendo, van desarrollando y adquiriendo los mismos hábitos y los mismos comportamientos de los que ellos van viendo. Mediante lo que ellos ven y lo que ellos notan a su alrededor es de lo que van a aprender y practicar. Si crecen en un ambiente de una familia con valores, una familia con buen carácter positivo, pues van a crecer en un ambiente saludable, van a seguir practicando los mismos valores que les han enseñado. Pero si crecen en una familia con problemas, con peleas, con discusiones, eso es lo que ellos también van a mostrar hacia la sociedad. También la Solución Pacífica me llamó mucho la atención porque desde el principio del libro de carácter, de la introducción, te dice que es una materia que es de por vida. Entonces te va a servir tú siendo niño, adolescente, un adulto, y lo vas a tener que estar utilizando constantemente con las personas del exterior. También me ha enseñado algo muy útil, que es tener una buena comunicación con los demás, comunicación respetuosa, para no faltarle respeto a las personas. Ya ven que a lo mejor con la confianza uno a veces se pasa con las palabras que tiene que decir. Entonces tener una buena comunicación también me ha sido muy útil al aprender esto de la Solución Pacífica, para tener buena comunicación con los demás. También es muy importante aprender esto de la Solución Pacífica, y porque tiene mucho cuidado y respeto sobre, no solamente sobre los demás, sino también sobre el medio ambiente. Cuando no tenemos autocontrol con nosotros mismos, no estamos afectando solamente a los demás, sino estamos afectando nuestro medio ambiente, creando basura, arrojando cosas al agua, pensando que a lo mejor a mí no me va a afectar, cuando en realidad me afecta a mí y a todo el ecosistema. Entonces, estos han sido los temas más importantes para mí sobre reconstruir nuestra sociedad con la Solución Pacífica.
You know, there's not enough that can be said for the young people you just seen speaking, which are adults now. Sadly, their father couldn't be with us. He passed away last year. He fled from Colombia to get his children to the school in Mexico. Legally, they did this. They've done it legally. They haven't walked through jungles. They haven't paid cartel. They haven't done any. They're going through a legal process. Their goal is to get to the headquarters here to continue their education in the peaceful solution. Myself and Catan traveled down to Acuna, which we go there quite often. The father wanted to speak with us last November, and he told us he knew he was going to die. He was suffering from cancer. He told us to promise him one thing: whatever you do, make sure my children stay in this program. Make sure they don't go. And I want to say one thing on their behalf. One thing impressive about that young lady you seen speak, English is her second language. She's self-taught. She set her mind to learn English. So you seen her give a speech in a second language. Her first primary language is Spanish. She's only 18 years old. Her brother you just seen speak is 19. No one has to tell them what to do. What you see them do right now, they freely choose to do themselves. There is no one forcing them to do anything. And I can tell you, they're making a huge difference for people that's their age.
Yeah, just like Chris was saying, the efforts that the father went through to see to it that he got his family here, it showed his belief and trust in a program that would ensure a better way of life for his children. And after he went to sleep, Chris mentioned, please don't let my children go back. They're of age. They could have done anything that they wanted. But they chose to stay here. They chose to continue to push the peaceful solution, and we're seeing the results of their effort coming forth. That's right, coming forth from their works and also what they're teaching a lot of young men and women who are kind of in the same situation where it seems like there's no hope. They're teaching these same moral principles to them to help to make society a better place. So they're keeping their mind focused on a positive goal.
It's hard not to get emotional when these people they're very close to you. Everyone becomes family. And a lot of times people will ask us when we travel around, they'll say, how many children do you have? And myself and Katan, we usually start counting and we'll say about 900, I think. Because we count all of the children that we deal with, we want to work with them. Once we make contact with them, and not just the children but the teachers, we want to see them grow. And the original group that started in Acuna, Mexico, in the school that you've seen, there's actually 2 schools there now. And you've seen the teachers that teach in all of them. They actually, not only have they added more groups and more groups, the original group they started with, because it was a time of COVID, we could only be allowed 10 students. They still, to this day, work with that original group 3 years into the program, and they're training those young people to how to become teachers of this program. And they're bringing in a little and a little. And I know right now they're in class, and they're going to be going to class later this afternoon. They don't stop teaching for anything. And if everyone could give them a round of applause, because they're doing an amazing job there. We're going to continue on in Mexico. And this is a place that myself, Katan, and Carlos, not Carlos Fonseca, but Carlos Colin, we recently traveled to just, I think about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, back in August. And we received information from a man who'd been following the Peaceful Solution for about 3 years. And he told us, he said, I have an enormous amount of people down here that are interested in the program. And, we were interested because he was in Los Cabos, San Jose. And I'm thinking, hey, that's by Cabo San Lucas. I've always wanted to go to Cabo San Lucas and see Cabo San Lucas. But see, me and Katan, we've been schooled before when we went to Jamaica. Jamaica online is the most beautiful country you've ever seen. You see the beautiful ocean and the resort towns and all of these things. But what they don't show you is where the people who live there that work so hard to keep that looking so great for the people that want a vacation. We wanted to stay with the people that live there. And when we went to Los Cabos, you're going to see, and there's going to be some video, and we'll give some explanation to it, but you're going to get to see where the tourists go. Then you're going to get to see where the people live who work for those resorts. And you're going to get to see the absolute drastic difference of what an American, a European, or anyone that wants to go vacation there would see, and something they never see. The author of The Peaceful Solution told us, you go to the people that need us the most. You go to the poor. And at Los Cabos, you're going to see a plane ride, and this is actually when we're leaving, but we put it at the beginning because we're actually flying over the colonies or the fractions that we went to. The fractions don't have rows, it's the riverbed. There's no trash pickup, so there's trash everywhere. There's no water, no city water, no well water, no water. There's no sewage. And these people live on next to nothing. But the one thing they do want is character education. And I want to say one thing. Where we went, they told us, you shouldn't go there. You shouldn't be there. We walked openly up and down the roads. We talked with people. We met with people. As long as you're there to do what's right, as long as you're there to not get there and take pictures with people so you can make money off of them, but you're there to help them. You're there to make their lives better. Those people are the most welcoming people on the face of this earth. They're just tired of being taken advantage of.
I was just thinking, a lot of people have the mindset that, everybody in Mexico wants to get to the United States, but the people that we met down in Los Cabos, and we had an opportunity to talk to several different groups of parents and, concerned citizens, and they weren't necessarily looking to get out of their country to the United States. They just wanted equality and opportunities where they were. They love their country. They love their communities. They love their people. They just need opportunities, and they're looking for a way to make a change, and they saw the Peaceful Solution as a wonderful fit, a wonderful option to help them to achieve that goal.
So if we can go ahead and play the video for Los Cabos, Mexico. Here you see the plane ride, and this is actually us leaving. This is what it looks like for the tourists. This is actually where we were privileged enough. There's a man who knows we teach character education, and he owns properties all around the world, and he allowed us to use this property, which is on a private location. And of course, you're looking at the Pacific Ocean. And this right here is about a 15-minute drive from what you just seen. This is where the people live. That road is a riverbed. Whenever it rains and it floods, of course, you're right on the very bottom of the Baja Peninsula. It all floods. You can see the trash, and to those of you that are used to trash pickup, that might seem a little odd, and we didn't film the worst parts. But to them, it's perfectly normal. It's their option. That's what they do. There's no such thing as throwing the trash in a pile and burning it, because there's no water to put it out if it gets out of control. So they throw it out there, and when the hurricanes come, the riverbeds fill up and the trash is washed out into the ocean. And that's what takes place there. But the morale of the people, I don't know if we could say enough about how they were so excited just to see that someone was there to offer them something that would give them hope.
Just one, two. Yeah, we had an opportunity to meet with some parents who were, I think it was like a AA meeting, something like that, substance abuse. They, used to be involved in drugs and drinking and so forth. And we were heading out, and we were getting ready to go to our next appointment. Now, this was in the evening where they were meeting. It wasn't in some nice air-conditioned room or anything like that.
My name is Enrique. I'm here in Los Cabos, Baja California Sur, Mexico. We are here sending the material of the Pacific Solution to different communities, to different places. We have visited 6 different locations where they teach the Pacific Solution program. The first person that I met to do this contact to receive these books was Hermano Carlos and Acuña. I want to thank the Pacific Solution for sending us these books, because it's been very helpful for the kids. They love it. They've been learning a lot. They're growing. Some of the kids that they took this program a little over 2 years ago, now they're teaching the same program to younger kids. I want to thank everybody that makes this happen. All the donations, all the people that did the translation. I know this was made in English first. but now it's in Spanish, and it helps a lot of people all over the world where they speak Spanish. I want to thank Chris, Hermano Chris. I want to thank Hermano Cotton. I want to thank Hermano Carlos, that they came a few months ago. They were here in Los Cabos with us. Everybody was happy to see them because they were so enthusiastic to see how this is going to be growing and growing every single week, every single month. I want to thank everybody.
Okay, so this is just a little bit more of the footage there of us heading. We had quite a few meetings while we were down there, and it was really jumping from one to the next. Now, this is what I was talking about. We were at this meeting here, and we had the opportunity to speak to a lot of the parents and some of the children there. But as we were leaving, one of the mothers stopped us, and she was learning English, but she was so excited, because she did not want her children to go through and suffer the things that she was suffering. And one of the main tools that she was using, and Enrique was one of the contributors to this and presenting this information to them, was the peaceful solution. And she saw that the peaceful solution was actually changing the character, changing the heart and the mind of her daughters, right? And she did not want to let us go without thanking us, and she would have probably hugged our necks if she could have. She was about this tall, but she was so appreciative that there was something different, right? And an actual solution that she can learn. And her daughter, I think, taught herself English. She was another person who was self-taught, and she was actually able to read the books in English, and she was also teaching her mother as well, and she also had another sister there as well. So we're seeing little bits and pieces, and like we said earlier, it's you go and you leave, and you don't always know the effect that you had, but it's a little seed that's planted in the hearts and the minds of everybody that we talk to, and over time that seed is watered. People get to see the differences of what they've learned in the peaceful solution, what are negative influences, what are positive influences, what are negative choices and positive choices, and they start to separate themselves from the negative things, and those lessons stick with them, as they get older and as they go into schools and so forth, and they really strive their hardest to do the very best that they can. So never think that our work is in vain, because it is producing effect throughout the entire world.
It was great to see that after we left, we have 6 schools there that have implemented the books of the Peaceful Solution. And he just let us know that, we need more boxes of books. We've got to get them in. And they're starting with the character unit because most of them are right around the 10, 11-year-old age. So they're starting off with the character unit. But I'm pleased to say that just in the next month, the respect unit and the parenting manual will be available in Spanish. So everything is going very well in these communities. Now we're going to travel even further south, and this is where everything really starts to pay off. And I realize we're going overtime here. You could talk about this for hours. I can tell you what we're showing right here, we cut off about 15 places that we were going to show today. So we're only going to show one more place today, and then we're going to show something that's taking place. But we're going to go down to a place that was made popular by a very well-known cartel leader named Pablo Escobar. And this was a place back in the 1990s, there were so many murders. Children were being murdered. Bombs were going off everywhere. People, politicians were being murdered. Planes were being blown up. And this man established himself very strong in this community, and they're still recovering to this day from what they experienced in Medellin, Colombia. Medellin, Colombia is the most beautiful city I have ever seen at night. It is a city that is in the mountains. And the city is lit up so beautifully because most people can't afford, they do not have electricity like we have here. But what they have is very weak. And when you have 4.5 million people living in the mountains, and the houses go all the way to the top of the mountains, it is absolutely beautiful. The city is overran by what they call motos, or motorcycles, because that's the easiest way of travel. Imagine you live at the base of the mountain, and the concrete stairs are all the way to the top, and there's no road to get you there. There are alleyways that go between these houses, and the houses are basically cinder block. Most of them don't have glass in the windows. It's climate neutral, but it rains almost every day. It's called the City of Eternal Springs. There's a lot of refugees in Medellin, and the American dollar is worth 4,000 pesos. So you can imagine what it is like for them in their economy when the average salary is right around $45 a week. Whenever they contacted us about the peaceful solution, they were going to do it for free. And we have another person you're going to see, actually a family. They quit their jobs to do this full time. When we first started, it was only about a month later. This school's been open for about 6.5 months. After about a month and a half opening the school, I got a message that says, "Oh, grande problema. We got a problem." I was like, what's the problem? You know, it's everything seems to be going well. You've got the books. You've got everything you need. You're going through the classes very well. I've only got room for like 15 students. I was like, okay. I have like 60 on the waiting list right now. And the room is packed. But the things in South America are very small. They do not have open space like we have here in the United States. What we see here, we take for granted. What they have there, they make work. And you're going to get to see a little bit of Medellin, and you're going to get to see a little bit of what goes on there. If we can go ahead and start the video. This is the flight into Medellin. You can see the mountain region. It's just right outside of the city. That's the city at night. And you need to multiply that by about 40 times to get the magnitude of that city. The city is very
Muy
old.
buenas tardes, mi nombre es Luz Zapata. Soy docente líder de la Fundación Solución Pacífica en Medellín, Colombia. Bueno, está ubicada aquí en el barrio Manrique. La apertura se hizo hace 7 meses realmente, una apertura que se hizo con 9 niños inicialmente, pero contando con la bendición y con la dicha de que pudimos lograr reunir 23, 25 niños, que es lo que tenemos aproximadamente ahora en la actualidad. Este barrio es un barrio ubicado en la zona de Medellín, un barrio muy vulnerado por la violencia, de escasos recursos. Por tal razón, obviamente, pues decidimos ubicarlo acá porque conocemos la zona muy bien, los niños de los cuales ahorita se benefician muchísimo de esta fundación. Tuvimos que abrir precisamente 2 turnos, dado que cuando iniciamos con 9. El espacio está para 10 niños, entonces nos turnamos lunes y miércoles con los niños más grandes, que están entre la edad de 9, 11, 12 años, y los martes y los jueves los niños más pequeños, que están desde los 5 años hasta los 8 años. Los días viernes hacemos una actividad recreativa para ellos, pero es una actividad como tal donde se pueden recrear, donde pueden disfrutar y pueden aprender al mismo tiempo, que lo llamamos viernes de cine, que son viernes en los cuales compartimos todos los niños, es decir, uno de los 2 turnos de los niños entre grandes y pequeños, para poder compartir entre todos, que nos podamos ver como obviamente como familia, y obviamente pues compartimos lo de los alimentos. Bueno, contenta, muy contenta, feliz, alegre, la verdad, muy agradecida por esta gran oportunidad que no solamente me brindan a mí, también le brindan a los niños. Somos muy beneficiados, muy bendecidos, porque como tal hay más niños que quieren volver, que quieren ingresar. Entonces no tenemos el espacio en el momento para recibirlos, confiando en que podamos ampliarnos para poder tener más niños, porque la verdad tenemos más niños interesados en ingresar. Queremos ampliarnos para poder recibirlos a todos y poder que ellos puedan venir todos los días, porque los 2 grupos quieren estar todos los días, pero como dije inicialmente, como el espacio es para 10, entonces tuve que dividirlos. Bueno, como indiqué también inicialmente, es un barrio muy vulnerado, entonces aquí ellos pueden dispersar su mente, no solamente los problemas que viven en el barrio, porque es un barrio en el cual como tal hay una plaza de vicio. Entonces, claro, ellos ven constantemente los jóvenes que están drogándose. Entonces aquí tienen la forma de distraerse de compartir, de tener su mente ocupada en cosas mucho más educativas. Ellos obviamente han hecho cambios en su vida. Es un proceso que no es fácil. Nos toca día a día ir trabajando con ellos, irles limpiando su mente, irles ayudándole a limpiar obviamente su corazón de tanto sentimiento, de tantos pensamientos encontrados, porque claro, como les indico, en su casa también viven violencia, viven necesidades. Algunos viven con sus padres, obviamente papá y mamá, otros no viven sino con sus abuelas, porque los papás son gente viciosa, gente que vive en la calle. Entonces su familia como hermanos o como tíos se hacen a cargo de ellos y me permiten obviamente tenerlos acá. Todos viven muy cerca. Yo he aprendido demasiado al mismo tiempo que yo les enseño, yo estoy aprendiendo con ellos. Siempre estamos como en esa disposición de querer saber más, de querer aprender, en disposición de hacer cambios positivos en nuestras vidas. Y pues bueno, le agradecemos muchísimo esta gran oportunidad, esta gran experiencia, porque vemos temas muy educativos, temas que realmente vemos todos los días, temas que implican, que nos tocan, que obviamente nos llaman la atención porque lo vemos en el colegio, lo vemos obviamente en la familia, lo vemos en el barrio, lo vemos con nuestros amiguitos, ellos lo ven con sus amigos. Entonces pues ahora cada tema que vemos sabemos que viene relacionado con el tema anterior, entonces fortalece muchísimo la parte de la disciplina, fortalece muchísimo la parte de los valores, el carácter como tal. Y pues les agradezco muchísimo el permitirnos aprender todos estos temas de este libro tan maravilloso, un libro que nos permite obviamente tener las bases del carácter, de la disciplina, valores que realmente nos permiten ayudarnos a nosotros, ayudarlos a ellos también, y que ellos también sean como la imagen, sean como tal ese espejo, ese reflejo ante su hogar, ese reflejo ante los compañeros del colegio, porque claro, ellos todo lo que están viendo acá lo están llevando como tal a sus casas, porque sus papás o las personas con las que obviamente están viviendo les preguntan por lo que hacen en las clases, y obviamente llevan muy buena información, los papás están súper contentos, ellos obviamente son muy pendientes de que ellos vengan a las clases y quieren mandar a sus otros hijos, pero bueno, confiamos en que podamos tener la apertura de un lugar mucho más amplio con el fin de ir creciendo como estamos, porque vamos así, en picada hacia arriba, realmente vamos a lo más alto. Es nuestro proyecto, y un proyecto que como tal estamos visualizando que vale la pena seguirle invirtiendo, no solamente en dinero sino en tiempo. Y pues espero obviamente ustedes estén muy contentos con este trabajo, con mi trabajo, con estos niños, que puedan tener la oportunidad de venir acá a conocerlos. Y pues bueno, mil gracias nuevamente, y pues aquí bienvenidos en la Fundación Solución Pacífica, ubicada en la ciudad de Medellín. Que tengan un excelente resto de tarde.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Milady, soy representante de la niña Isabela Villanueva. Ella se encuentra en la Fundación Solución Pacífica de aproximadamente 2 meses, 3 meses. A través de una amiga encontré el cupo. Gracias a Dios. Es una experiencia maravillosa, ya que mi niña llega todos los días que le toca, muy contenta por el tema que dan, por la merienda, por compartir con sus amiguitos. Y la profe Luz es muy amable y tiene mucha paciencia. Con respecto a la atención de ella ha sido una persona muy maravillosa, muy amable, muy paciente con los niños y con los representantes. Muy agradecida con Dios y con la amiguita y con la fundación por el cambio que ha tenido mi niña.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Violeta Gallego Cortés y soy del barrio Manrique Oriental. Mi familia está conformada por mi tía y mis primas. Estudio el grado 6º y en la Fundación Solución Pacífica nos enseñan cosas como el carácter positivo, que el carácter positivo es respetar a los demás, el amor al prójimo, amor a sí mismo y entre muchas más cosas. Me gusta esta fundación porque me gusta venir a pasar tiempo con mis amigos, reforzar aquellos valores que a practicar. Y lo que más me gusta de esta fundación es cuando nos enseñan, porque me ayuda a saber qué hago mal, cómo puedo reforzar esos valores y cómo puedo ayudar con mi carácter positivo.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Isabel Osorio, tengo 10 años, estoy en el grado 4.2, vivo con mi mamá, mi papá y mi hermana, vengo a la Fundación Pacífica hace 6 meses. A mí me gusta venir porque me enseña de los valores, respetar, ser amable, decir gracias y por favor, y ayudar con los oficios de la casa a mi papá.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Isabel Carrillo, vivo en el barrio Manrique Oriental, tengo 10 años, estoy en el grado quinto, vivo con mis papás y mis tíos. En la Solución Pacífica venimos a aprender sobre algunos temas como el carácter positivo, los rasgos morales, el carácter, la personalidad, y en esos días vimos un llamado VIP, que se define en 3 letras: valor, imitar y practicar, y uno en general que es preferencial. Lo que más me gusta de la Solución Pacífica es que no hay gente estricta y aprendemos muy bien, y aparte que puedo aprender con mis compañeros y compartir los temas.
You know, one thing very important to see is all we do here at headquarters is help provide the opportunity for these people. There are so many people that are out there waiting just for an opportunity, many of them searching, but they don't know what they're looking for yet. We're finding very quickly that if you can just put out this opportunity, just give people hope. Once again, that's a city of 4 million people. And the city, or the neighborhood that you've seen the young man talk about, Mararique, that is one of the poorest neighborhoods in the city. And there's children, you know, what an honor it is to know that, hey, our biggest problem is we don't have enough room. We need more room. We need a bigger place. We need a bigger place to get these children into our school, to teach them what needs to be done. And many people there helping. You know, they have a spokesperson that's there, but she's not the only one doing that job. And I really hate we can't get everyone that's helping on the screen, and so many countries that are helping us and getting this job done. But I hope here everyone is encouraged, because the hardships that these people go through, once again, it's hard to understand what they go through here in the United States. You know, Catan has some brief information about what they're experiencing in Colombia, but I would like for everyone here to see what it would be like to live off $40 a week. And I know you might think, well, things are cheaper there. I've spent a lot of time in Medellin, Colombia, and I haven't saved any money when I go. You would be amazed. Gas prices are more expensive than what they are in the United States. You learn to eat the bare necessities, and you don't expect anything more than that.
Yeah, Chris mentioned, you know, $45 a week is kind of an average, but there are a lot of people who live kind of in the farther areas, the outskirts, who don't have access to kind of work in the city area, so they live out in the more rural area. You know, they average about $50 a month. You know, about $600 a year is what they have to live on. And like you saw in the video there, you know, they're excited to be able to come to these classes. And when we were looking at that, I was thinking to myself concerning this theme, and I was thinking, we are seeing this come about. We're seeing the rebuilding of our society, because these young men and women, as students, and the ones who have taken the time and, you know, seen the value in the peaceful solution, the parents, the teachers, the citizens there, you know, and learned everything that they could learn about the peaceful solution, and they communicate with headquarters continuously. They are taking the steps, they are making the choice to rebuild society, to make it better, one step, one choice at a time. So we are seeing this take place right before our very eyes this day. And you're a part of it as well.
If we could show the next picture. This is all I really want to show. This is the start of, it will be the largest Peaceful Solution school in this country. This school is being built, the land is owned by the Peaceful Solution Character Education Program. This is one of 4 that are in the process. But I want everyone to realize this was always the dream of the author of the Peaceful Solution, Yisrael Hawkins, to have these schools all around the world. I also want people to remember what David brought out earlier. No one gives us concrete, no one gives us cinder blocks, and no one gives us the labor to build these things. I want some of you to think about, especially the young people that are here, are you willing to go help build these schools? Are you willing to go help teach these people? You've seen some beautiful things, but are you willing to go stay with refugees? Are you willing to go out on the streets and be with them? I can tell you it's an experience that I'm thankful for. These things get built through the hard work of those, most of you sitting here. You're a living example to what these people can accomplish. You're the hope that they see. Whenever we opened our school in Colombia, the teacher said, I don't know if I can quit my job. I have a son and I have responsibilities. And my family can all come in together and we can help. I said, you know, the author of the Peaceful Solution always said a person needs food, clothing, and shelter. And they looked at me and they were like, my job will give me food, clothing, and shelter? It's like, what is the average salary here? It's like $49. We'll give you $60 a week. We'll guarantee you have food, and we'll guarantee you have shelter. Everybody that was involved started crying, and they said, we feel like we just won the lottery. You don't get that anywhere else. Now, these people are very thankful for what they get. They have food, they have clothing, and they have shelter. And they're able to survive on $60 a week. And I had one lady say, do you know anybody else that does this? I said, you would not believe the people I know that do this. There are many people that gave up their jobs and their lives. Just like the man you've seen in Los Cabos. He gave up a very high-paying job to do the job he does now. That give up their jobs to do this. Now, everybody can't quit their jobs because it takes money to do this also. You know, we'd like to thank at this time for the opportunity of having our conference here at the House of Yahweh headquarters, which has allowed us, the Peaceful Solution, to come in and actually be able to hold our conferences here. A great contributor and a partner in what we do in helping put forth character education. Yeah, if everyone could give the House of Yahweh a round of applause for allowing us to use the facility. We would also like to thank each and every person that puts their hand out to help with this. And I would also like to tell you, especially you young people, if you're willing to help us, because when we build schools, we like to get involved ourselves. We like to put our hands to it. I'm not saying get ready to go on a vacation, but if some of you are interested in going and laying your hands down and getting your hands dirty and helping communities build these schools, and we also need people to help train and teach, mentors, people that you can communicate with. And of course, those relationships last way beyond going to their country. You continue online. You continue in teaching and training. And you continue in growing these things. And just like the foundation of the school we just showed, that's going to be larger than their public school that they have in that city. The Peaceful Solution will be. And we're there to help. We're there to educate. Once again, I would like to thank all of you for coming. I would like to thank all of you for participating. I know many people here are training to be certified teachers. I'd like to remind everyone here in just a few hours at 5:30, we're going to have another certification class tonight. So you're more than welcome to stay for that. I know the women are been very patiently waiting for their display that they have over there. They've worked very hard, and the men will be able to go over there and look at it also. But we want everyone to remember, every part you play in this helps tremendously. And I'm not talking about money. The author of The Peaceful Solution told me one thing that I've never forgotten. He said, if a person will offer you their money or their time, always take their time. Their money will go away. Their time is priceless. If a person will give you their time and their effort, take that first. He said, the money, they see the calls, they'll help with that anyway. Because it's hard to do the work without the necessity of the tools. So I would like for everyone to remember, not just to keep the dream alive of the author, which is growing and growing and growing, but I hope everyone can see the work that they're doing here at the headquarters and all around the world. And once again, this was just a blink of an eye of what's going on around the world. That you see what you do here, you don't see how it ripples out. You don't see where the wave in the ocean starts, but you see it end on the seashore. You have no idea how much this wave is rippling out. This ripple effect is going out. And there's people sitting here in this auditorium today from other countries that have traveled here for this purpose. You know, once again, thank you, every one of you, for coming, and we really appreciate it. And I hope that we can take this and move on to the spring conference that will come up, and we will have much more detail and show a lot more that's going on around the world. Thank every one of you for joining us.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. A few quick announcements. It's time for the display. The women will go to the display first and check it out. Please, no removal of any items unless you're allowed to by the people there leading the display. No removal of items. And the men will be able to go to the display around 5 o'clock. So the women first and then the men. Everyone have a wonderful evening.